Go ahead and introduce the speaker. He's Connor Dubey, right? Is the director of sales and marketing, and he deals with active blogs, and so he's going to be teaching us about LinkedIn.
My cue, do you want to just roll into the chat? Awesome. Well, good to see you all. Thank you for having me again. Super grateful to be here with you as a MSU graduate myself. Graduated from the marketing department back in 2017. It's hard to remember. It seems like 100 years ago, but it was also not that long ago. So it's kind of crazy. Anybody that's jumping in that's not on camera would love, if you need a virtual background or something, love to see your face. It'd be great if you could hop on camera with us. We're going to make this super interactive. I'm kind of like ADD brain myself, and I was never really able to pay good attention when I had a speaker in, just shared a bunch of slides. Dude, I love that background. That's awesome. That's great. The Patrick. So what we're going to do, since this is kind of a part 2 to what we had done last time and laid some foreground, some of you may have been here, may not have been. We covered some great area, and I think there's a recording of that somewhere, right, Sheila, where people can access that. What I'd really like to do, especially because we have a tight-knit group here, right? Like, I'm used to speaking in front of audiences with hundreds of people. We have a small group here. I want to make sure that all of you leave with the absolute most amount of value from the time that we're going to spend, about the next 60 minutes or so. So I'm going to challenge each and every single one of you, even the professors and the organizers in this group, to come up with at least one question regarding using LinkedIn. It can be absolutely anything. No matter how small you think it is, I guarantee you someone else in the group will probably have a similar question. So I want you to come up with one question, or maybe even a roadblock or a challenge or a hurdle that you're facing in kind of your professional development efforts, maybe trying to land a career either even immediately or outside of graduation, concerns that you have, anything. So I will call on each and every single person in this room. I'd love if you could show up on camera, would be great. I'll give you a bit of time to kind of think about what you want to ask me, and then we can actually dive in, and I can either chat through it with you. I can share my screen. We can get super technical, but I'll lay a bit of foreground. By show of hands too, who was here last time? I do see a few familiar faces. Okay, so actually almost everybody. So I'll give a bit of background on myself. My name's Connor Dubey. I know it's ironic growing up in the state of Colorado and having the last name Dubey. So I've been an entrepreneur since the age of 7 years old. I actually grew up here in the state of Colorado. And my first business, I took rocks from my neighbor's yard, my parents' yard, and I painted them and I sold them. That was my very first business. So when 9/11 happened, I wanted to find a way to donate and give back. And I donated all the money, all the funds that I raised to the 9/11 rebuild efforts. And that's really kind of been my path and journey, and something I've really stuck to with my entrepreneurial journey is conscious entrepreneurship, right? And there's a way you can have a for-profit business and have a big nonprofit impact on the back end of what you're doing. So I've started a handful of nonprofits over the years, handful of businesses. I went to Metro to earn my marketing degree and had a pretty interesting experience. Coming from the background that I didn't have the traditional path. When I was in and earning my marketing degree at Metro, I was actually managing and running a multi-million-dollar sales and marketing department. One of those departments I helped grow from $4 to $10.8 million in a year and a half. And when I left college, I was going to either start another business, or my dad had a legacy company that's kind of a small business. It's been around for years. I decided to partner up with him and use that as a vehicle to grow. So I have a couple other businesses that I do, couple streams of income that might be interesting to some of you that are looking, for different avenues and vehicles. pre-graduation and post-graduation. Super passionate nerd about sales and marketing. About 4 years ago, when I was trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do here, right? Like, I need to be able to know successful people for me, myself, to be successful, right? I needed mentors in my life. I needed people who can guide me down the right path than me, myself, wasting a bunch of time. So I actually launched a podcast 4 years ago called Mile High Mentors, which allowed me a vehicle to be able to connect up with all the top leaders, influencers, entrepreneurs in the state of Colorado. That podcast is kind of on pause while I actually launched a secondary show called B2B Mentors. And, it's been a great way for me to be able to learn from other people and learn success stories and be able to bring that to you as well, right? I'm kind of a facilitator of information. I'm not nowhere near where, that's great English, right? Not nowhere near where I want to be in my life. There's a lot of things that I still want to accomplish. And so I'm constantly reaching up, and I would encourage all of you to do the same as well. And the fact that you're here today is definitely a sign of that. Show of hands, how many of you in here want to be an entrepreneur? Raise your hand. Or may already be an entrepreneur. Okay. And then raise a hand, career path, entrepreneurship in a company. Can you guys hear me?
I don't
Is there
know
an
what
alternative?
I don't know what entrepreneur is.
Entrepreneur is someone who is active within a business. It's kind of my term for not an entrepreneur, but you want to be a catalyst in another business. Traditional career, I'll say that. I'll assume those who didn't raise their hand on entrepreneur falls in that category. Maybe that was a confusing way to say it. I need to think about how I rephrase that. So anyways, when I was back and trying to figure out how do I grow business and also how do I get opportunities, all the principles of leveraging LinkedIn apply whether you're looking for a career or you're also looking to grow a business and be successful in sales and marketing. There's a much grander picture than just LinkedIn when it comes to this world of professional development, but LinkedIn truly is the #1 platform in the world if you want to get yourself out there and highlight your expertise, find an incredible career, and not just take the traditional path. What a lot of college students do, and a number of my peers have gone through this as well, is, you see a company's hiring, you go and apply, you submit through an application process, maybe you do some interviews. There's this whole other world of alternative jobs that you may not even be aware of that can open massive opportunities for you. And that's the thing I want to help you do, is to open opportunities, is to open doors, and to empower each and every single one of you to be able to get into a vehicle to accomplish whatever it is you want in your life. Sound fair? So for those of you that may have just jumped in, again, we're doing this a little differently because I want to make sure that you're all getting the most amount of value and are really thinking about what are the questions I have about professional development, about LinkedIn, and then I'm going to ask each one of you an answer. So if you don't have a question, just think about that. One other thing I want to touch on here when it comes to LinkedIn. We live in a digital world, right? We're doing this through Zoom. It's so awkward. I love doing this in person, but it's great to see you all through Zoom, but we live in a digital world and that's not going to change. How many of you want to be working remote in your career? Don't want to be working remote. Semi want to be working remote. Want to be working remote, want to be working remote. Okay, so it's a little bit split. Some of it is kind of 50-50, but the gateway, whether you want to work remote or not, the gateway to that is digital channels, because a lot of the networking, a lot of the stuff that we used to do to be able to meet people for job opportunities in the wild, so to say, right? You meet someone at a bar and they know someone, or, a lot of that's changing as well. So one channel that you can consistently rely upon is definitely LinkedIn. Now, I highly recommend you write this down, okay? So there's 4 key pillars to making LinkedIn a success for you. Number 1 is messaging. Messaging equals meaning. So messaging equals meaning. I'm not talking about sliding up in the DMs, or I'm talking about something a little bit different. I'm talking about the messaging and how your pages are set up. Your profile is basically a micro website. It's an extension of your offline brand. So when people meet me in person, my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my Facebook, my podcast, it's all an extension of my in-person brand. So instead of using that real estate as, you know, what most people kind of use in LinkedIn in their job title, or especially students, is students at, you know, Metro State University, right? Ask yourself, what value, this is where kind of marketing comes in for anyone who's, let me take one step back, guys. By the way, I'm ADD, so all these thoughts will come together, I promise you. Let me take a step back. Whether you're in accounting, you know, we have psychology majors, tech majors, engineers, no matter what your major is, all of you are in marketing. Every single one of you are in sales, because you have to sell yourself and market yourself in your professional development, in your career, and to get the job that you want to get someday. Messaging is a great way to be able to apply that. So think of your LinkedIn profile like a digital billboard of your messaging. It needs to create meaning in relation to the industries that you're trying. Break this down a lot more. I don't want to spend too much time on that today. Your messaging equals meaning. So that's number 1. I highly recommend you write it down. Number 2 is engagement. Don't just sit there with your LinkedIn profile and think that you're magically going to have recruiters reaching out to you, like begging to hire you. It doesn't work like that. Okay, you may own like the coolest sports car in the world, right? You may have the coolest thing, but if it's just sitting in a place where people can't see it and people don't have access to it and people don't have awareness to it, it's no good, right? What good is owning a cool sports car if you can't drive it around and people can't see it? Okay, so engagement is what's going to drive the eyeballs to your messaging. Every single one of you needs to get active in your industries on LinkedIn, and I'll show you how to get to them, how to find the industries, how to identify them, how to find the right people, and engage with the influencers in those organizations, engage with the thought leaders in those organizations by connecting, by following, by engaging with content. Cool. So engagement is what's going to help drive your eyeballs into what you're doing. You got to start getting active on there, not just sitting with the hope and a prayer that someone's going to find you someday. Now, another vehicle for that, which might sound a little scary for some of you, and it is for a lot of folks, even those who are like kind of comfortable with this, is content. Every person, all of you now need to think of yourself as like your own personal expert in your space. And you don't have to be an expert, but you're a subject matter expert in the areas that you do know and that interest you. So if I'm interested in, Danny, what was your major? I'm just calling on you because you're what was your major again?
So I'm early childhood education.
Early child, that's awesome. Cool. And we need so much more of that in our world. So thank you for that. So if I'm early childhood education, you know, the things that you're learning, the things that you're experiencing, the things that you're interested in, I would be creating information around that. I would be creating and sharing my enthusiasm for that world and posting it to LinkedIn, posting it to social media. What this is going to do is to make you, you know, get people to, number one, see you, but get people interested in you. And that in itself may help to land you a career in somewhere that you may not have even considered, and be a phenomenal opportunity because you took a unique step to show your interest, to show your passion for the industry. Me personally, after I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of hiring agents, CEOs, billionaires, multimillionaires, every single one of them tell me the average applicant, they just go through the traditional path. But, you know, the person who I just hired last week, I actually saw that they were active on LinkedIn, and I saw that they were sharing content relevant to the industry. I saw that they were really interested here. They had things to say, and that they were they were a subject matter expert in the area that I'm actually looking to hire. That's how I found them, right? My friend liked their post, and I saw their post. I realized on their LinkedIn profile that they're open to job opportunities. I reached out to them, and now they're a full-time employee. So it sounds scary, but if you can find industry resources, if you can get yourself on camera and start getting your face out there, the only difference is it's online versus offline. You wouldn't be scared to show up for an in-person job interview, right? Like if you had a baller job interview, you would show up in person. Do the same promotion for yourself through LinkedIn, and all the tools are right there for you for you to be able to take advantage of that. So that was number 3. And then number 4 is consistency. I think of going out into the job market, right? Like if I ever wanted to go get a job anywhere else, I would pursue it just the same way that I would pursue a sales prospect. So if there's a company that I want to reach and I want them to do business with me, I've got to connect with the people there. I've got to engage with them. I've got to get content in front of them. I've got to get my messaging in front of them, but I can't just do it one time and say, oh, they didn't respond, you know, oh, they didn't respond to my job application. Apply 3, 4, 5, 10 times, apply 15 times, message them on LinkedIn, let them know you're interested, see if you can get people on the phone, pursue it like you're pursuing a sales opportunity. And I know some of you who are outside sales, like, what the heck's this guy talking about? Okay. The main thing I'm trying to get to is consistency. Show up over and over and over and over again in the areas that you're interested in the areas that you're passionate about. I guarantee you, if you follow these steps, you will have the dream career of your lifetime, exactly what it is that you want to do. And there's no reason that you should settle for anything less, right? So let's do this. So again, just to recap the 4 pillars, number 1 is messaging. Number 2 is engagement. Number 3 is content. Number 4 is consistency. If you want some of the technical setup on this, we have a former recording, but what I'd really like to do now is to jump in and make sure every single person, the reason you showed up today is you probably have questions about LinkedIn, thoughts about LinkedIn that are unanswered. I'm here to take care of that for you. So I'm going to just go in and Evan, Florence, Carla, love if you'd hop on camera with me. Mackenzie, I know you said you'd have, we're having some issues over there, but love if all of you would hop on camera here with me. That'd be great. And I'll start this is all random, not picking on anybody. Lauren, we only have one Lauren, I think. Yes, Lauren, what is your question, biggest question, roadblock, challenge, anything that we can help address today in the group?
Yeah, I guess one thing that was coming up for me, if there's kind of like a specific person that you want to outreach to, maybe someone that you think would be a good mentor, or they're just like doing the job that you would love to do, how would you go about reaching out to them on LinkedIn?
That's an awesome question. Now, do you already know who that person is, or do you kind of is it more of like, I want to try to see if I can find that person within a certain company?
Yeah, so I don't have that specific person yet, but I'm about to start looking for internships. So I feel like I'm gonna probably be finding a lot more people that I want to reach out to.
Cool. Who's the role generally that you think would be the one you'd want to be, mentored by?
So I am looking for an internship for the Master of Social Work program, and I want to do something with like administration. So maybe even like working for a county, and not be a case like worker, but the admin for that.
Okay, beautiful. So the beauty of LinkedIn, and this will be a great prompt for me to share my screen here, is I can actually come in here, and if I want to search up like city of Denver, city and county of Denver, right? I'm not sure if the caseworkers work directly through them or it might be a different organization. Now this will take some research, but if I've identified an opportunity like this, okay, I can see here there's a lot of employees, 4,812. That's a lot of people to filter through, okay? So right now, Lauren, because she's taking the advice I gave her, her profile is set up accordingly with the things she just shared with me, right? Literally what you just shared with me is what you should be plastering all over your LinkedIn and sharing on LinkedIn. Now, the next step is I want to find I want to find the mentor. I want to find the foot in the door for these opportunities on LinkedIn. You said, like, would a caseworker kind of be the person that you would be mentored by?
Yeah, I think that would work.
Cool. So in the search bar, now that I have a filter of the city and county of Denver, I can actually see, I'm not going to tell, Rachelite, maybe it's Rachel. Rachel spelled interesting way. Rachel, Denise, Nancy, Abby, Mark. And what I want to do further is kind of get to know these people. Like, I want to see, okay, what are they interested in? Adult Protective Services at City and County of Denver. Well, I want to go and actually connect with her and let her know, hey, Bettina, I'm at MSU Denver currently, and I'm interested in learning and kind of following your journey. And I'd love to know if there's any tasks that you have right now that I could actually maybe come in the office for an hour a week and do for you for free. And I would start kind of mining these folks directly through LinkedIn, sending those messages and identifying who might be that mentor and the person who's going to, jump on that, which I guarantee you, if I reach out to almost anybody and say, hey, could I come in your office? Do you have some cleaning that I could do for an hour? Just get to know you and kind of learn about what it is that you do and how you do it. And maybe you have some paperwork that I can come and help file, some extra tasks. That's a great way to get your foot in the door without just saying, hey, Bettina, I'm interested in being in this space. Can I pick your brain? Can I buy you a coffee? Not the way to go about this, my friends. Find a way to give value. Find a way to give. This is how I've gotten my foot in the door with some of the most successful entrepreneurs that you've probably heard and seen of, business owners, is using that approach of give before I even try to ask for anything, before I even try to get people to mentor me. That comes naturally through a value exchange. Okay, so it's kind of a long-winded answer, but I would, to answer your question particularly, let's say these folks may not be aggressively active on LinkedIn, okay? But I now know that Bettina is a senior social caseworker for the city and county of Denver. I may go find her on Instagram. I may go find her on Facebook. I may go find her on Twitter. And then heck, I may see if I can dig up her email address somewhere on her LinkedIn profile. So I can do a little bit of homework here. I can see, okay, she used to be a business development specialist. She used to work at St. Thomas Hospital. And these are all, you know, she used to work at Deakin University. Do I have any relation there? Maybe my dad went to Deakin University and I can kind of bring that up. Hey, saw you went to Deakin. My dad went there. Or I saw you were an event worker at Animal House. I volunteered there a couple years ago. Is, you know, can I come in the office and volunteer and help out for a couple hours and just kind of learn about what you guys do and how you do it? Lauren, did that help? Did that answer your question? Is there any additional kind of clarifications that I can help for you? Man, I can't talk today. Help you with.
I think that was great. That definitely answered my question. I really appreciated seeing that visual as well.
Cool. I appreciate your question. That's awesome. I guarantee someone else was probably wondering the same thing. And again, I can show you all how to get there and do it again as well. Awesome. Danny, you're just right next to me. Fire away, my friend.
Right. So I guess one thing that I kind of want to know just in general with LinkedIn, is there anything that is unnecessary or that we shouldn't be putting on our LinkedIn profile, or kind of how does that work?
Do you have a specific example? Something that maybe you were thinking about doing and
Not particularly, but I'm kind of just trying to, I guess, fine tune my profile. And I'm just kind of wondering if there's anything that I really shouldn't have on there. Like, for example, I know some people have like where they went to high school and things like that. Is that something that's necessary to put on our profile? Just kind of what is unnecessary?
That's an awesome question. I don't know if the high school deal is totally necessary unless you want some, you know, similarities. And I've never really found anyone else I've gone to high school with through LinkedIn by looking at that they went to my high school. So stuff like that, probably if there's kind of a question area, but any, like if I, you know, if I maybe worked at McDonald's for a month, you know, that's probably not necessary to include in LinkedIn. But on the other side of that, I would go through each and every section and I would see how can I fill this way more robust than anyone else in who's kind of in the job hunt market, similar to the space that I'm in. How can I make this much more robust? Can I do some extra volunteering this weekend? Can I do some extra volunteering over the summer? Can I do anything else to add to my credibility? Can I record a video of myself talking about, hey, my name's Danny, you know, I'm here in Denver. I'm actively looking for a career in this area. If you know anybody in your network, please, I'd love an introduction, any recommendations, or any tips that you have. If you're actively working in this career field, do you have any tips you could share with me? And you can record that video and post it right onto your LinkedIn profile. So it's right there. Every single person who visits your LinkedIn profile is going to see it. So I'll give you a couple visuals, my friends, while we're talking about that. Under here, when you're logged into your page, there is this, where'd it go? Add profile section. Yep, right here. So I would go through that and I would try to fill as much as humanly possible. Skills, accomplishments, languages you speak. I know so many in the business world. If you're multilingual and you speak multiple languages, that is a huge, huge asset in the business world. So include that on your LinkedIn profile. There's actually a section to include that on your LinkedIn profile. If I record a video, right? Why you should hire me. I'm going to title my video, Why You Should Hire Me. I can store it right at the top of my profile in my featured section. Okay. Now, another thing to fill out, make sure this is robustly filled out, is your skills. You know, these are keywords that if a recruiter in a company is searching through LinkedIn, some of these keywords are actually going to help you show up over other people. So if I have skill in JavaScript, then I want to make sure I include that in here. And that is actually a skill. Now, me personally, don't ask me to do any coding because it's scary. It's terrifying. Or math. Math is not my thing. But if I'm good at it, if accounting is my skill set, financial accounting, cost accounting, this stuff gets really technical. Get as specific as you can and make sure it's included in here. Now, another thing is this recommendations section. Recommendations, right? I get a lot of video testimonials from clients. This is all social proof that you are who you say you are and that you are skilled and that you are a contributor. So LinkedIn makes it very easy. I would make sure you're connected up with all of your professors on LinkedIn. Most of them I found use LinkedIn. Anyone you've interacted with, and also other students that maybe you've done projects with, that you've worked with, employers that you've worked with. Make sure you're already connected with them. That should be a no-brainer. You're automatically connected with people who are in your real life network. Ask them for a recommendation. So if I pick Bob, I'll just pick someone random, and I explain, it'll prompt me to say what my title was at the time when this thing's working. Sorry guys, let me get rid of this. Okay, there we go. Something's glitching out here. Might just be Zoom. Come on. Come on. Okay, well, I don't want to waste your time with this, but it's very easy. You go out, fill out a couple details, and then you ask the person, hey, Bob, you know, we had worked together during this period. I was wondering if you could just write a quick sentence or two about your experience in working with me or having me help you with this. You know, I helped you with your nonprofit and volunteered. Would you just mind giving me writing a quick testimonial of your experience with me in that? And start stacking these, because you can use these for years and years and years to come. They're basically evergreen testimonials, and they're all easily stored right here on LinkedIn. They send directly to their LinkedIn inbox. You can text them, you know, email them, hey, would you write me a recommendation? If you're in a group with other students, you know, in your department, again, try to see if you collectively can get together and start filling those endorsement sections. That's going to be great for recruiters to totally separate you from the rest of the pack. Danny, did I answer your question okay?
Yes, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. Katrina, fire away, my friend.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing awesome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So my question for you is, I've been hearing people have been putting their LinkedIn on their resume. They put it right next to like their phone number and email. Is that a good idea? Do you think that's something I should start doing?
It is the best idea, because we're hiring right now for a $60,000 to $90,000 a year position in our company. We're hiring for that right now. We're actively gone through hundreds and hundreds of resumes. One of the first things I do is I go and I look at their LinkedIn profile. You want to know the second thing I do? I look at their Facebook page. You want to know the third thing I do? I go look at them on Instagram, and then I go see if I can find them on Twitter. So LinkedIn especially, I'm not recommending to like link Facebook and Instagram. Those play a different role, but just know that hiring managers are looking at that stuff. I've just literally yesterday, you know, I did an interview in our office up here in Fort Collins, and first thing I did before I even looked at his resume was I went and looked at his LinkedIn profile. So I love there's, you know, you can even take the LinkedIn logo and put it in your resume and just link it, right? So someone can easily look at your resume, click it, and it just takes them straight to your LinkedIn profile. Now, if you want to just put the link to your LinkedIn profile, okay, so I'll show you a little neat trick here. If you want to just put your link like this, I'm just going to copy and paste this and put that in to my resume. You can actually edit this, because if you don't edit it, it might be a bunch of long gobbledygook. You can go in here and edit your public profile. And then right here, edit your custom URL. You know, you can change that to your name. You could change that to Engineer Guru. You know, you can make it nice and short and sweet, but it'll help you when you share that link with anybody. Does that help, Katrina? Cool. All right.
Sorry.
Awesome. Awesome. And by the way, if you have any follow-up question or anything, I'll make sure I make a round again, but feel free to just interject at any point in time. Now I wrote it down. Naue, is that right?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I have a similar question like Lauren. So I had a couple internship interview, but unfortunately it didn't work out. And it is okay to connect with the recruiters or the manager I had an interview with. And how do you define like stalking the interviewer or just connecting with them? Like how?
You know, the last person we just hired 2 weeks ago, no, that was over 30 days ago. Last person we just hired 30 days ago, $65,000 starting salary plus bonuses and everything. Right after our interview, she sent me a follow-up email, which like totally stood out, like talked about details from our meeting, the things she liked, things she was excited for, things that she felt she could bring to the table. She connected with me on LinkedIn, and between those two things, number one, it totally stood out, and it was very much appreciated, and nobody else did it. Believe it or not, like nobody sent some people sent follow-up emails like, hey, thanks for the interview. But she really put some thought and sincerity into it. So another really neat trick about LinkedIn is, and to answer your question straightly, I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Yes, I would connect with them, and I would connect up with their boss. I would connect up with the president. I would connect up with the CEO. I would connect up with the head of accounting, the finance manager, and I would say, hey, great, I just did an interview with you. Absolutely love what you're doing. Super passionate about it. Love if we could keep in touch. And probably 7 to 8 out of 10 times they're going to accept your connection request. Because who knows, maybe they get 12 months down the road, 2 years down the road, you were that person who took the extra step, and they're like, oh, we're hiring for that position still. I should respond to her on LinkedIn. So I wouldn't just do the hiring manager, which I would recommend, but I would connect with others, and do all of you know how to do that? Like, you can send a custom note in LinkedIn. When I go to connect with someone, I can either say send now, always send a custom note in your case. Use the context. Hey, I just submitted an application. Love to connect here. I followed some of the stuff you've done in your career. It's awesome you did XYZ. Look forward to keeping in touch. All of a sudden, the president who you connected with may be like, hey, she connected with me on LinkedIn. Did we interview her? Her credentials seem really impressive, and her LinkedIn profile was really impressive. I'd like to do a follow-up interview. Something else you can do, this will blow people's mind, is follow-up videos. So if I have LinkedIn on mobile, and if I'm connected up with Alyssa, I can send her a video directly through LinkedIn. Hey, I so much appreciate the interview today. It was great to meet all of you. I really like that you mentioned XYZ. Look forward to continuing our conversation. Something as small as that could like make or break a potential opportunity for you. And again, totally stand you out from everyone else. Don't be worried about what you look like on camera. Don't concern yourself with it. You'd have no problem meeting them face to face. So if you didn't, or even if you did meet face to face, video follow-up is so powerful, right? Video brings no like and trust. And I'm sure you've, all of you have experienced this, right? You've bought from someone because you've seen video or something they put out on Instagram or a video ad. So yeah, does that answer your question? And was that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Cool. Moving along here, Alyssa Castillo?
Castillo, yeah.
Castillo, I got it right the first time.
So my question is, how should I display my like my work that I want to show off? Should I make a separate like blog post, or is there a way to display that directly on LinkedIn?
What's your work? What work are you referring to?
So I'm an early childhood education major, and
That's
I'm
right, yes.
thinking, well, Danny is also, so, but I'm thinking of like if I want to show like a lesson plan that I made, or like just something like that.
Great question. The answer is yes, there are ways to highlight that in your profile and to actually feature it. So again, pulling up a real world example here. If it's something that's like an article, right? So I wrote this article called The Menti Keys to Mastering Your Health, Wealth, and Relationships. This is published and housed directly in my article section on LinkedIn. It's there forever, right? It'll get picked up by keywords, by search, all that good stuff. So you can, if it's something that's like an article or a one pager, you can store it that way. But one of the favorite sections of mine is this featured section. If this featured section is not on your LinkedIn profile, you may have to add it. So in your add profile section, featured, you may need to attach it into your, you may need to attach it into your profile. And then if I have a document or a multi-page project that I've done, then I can publish it and then store it directly here. So I have like podcasts I've been featured on. I have like, videos I want to highlight. I have articles I want to highlight, and it all stores right here into this featured section. Which again, if I'm a job recruiter or hiring manager, these things, I look at these things. I mean, me personally, I look at attachments, and some people attach their resumes into their LinkedIn profile. I don't really recommend that. May come across like a little bit needy. I would probably do that more in like a one-to-one distribute your resume, like but for like stuff you've actually done, I would definitely store it here. Cool. Does that help, and does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Great question. All great questions. And no question is too small, I promise you. If you're like, how do I change my profile picture? Like I promise you, a lot of the coaching I do in the consulting are with like mostly baby boomers, and like they don't know even how to change like very, very simple that may seem like common sense. So I'm sure most of you are on top of it. Okay, so Joshua, can you hear me? Did you
Yeah, I
lose
was
me?
cutting out. I can hear you now.
Okay.
So I created a LinkedIn account when I started at MSU, and I haven't done anything for it. It's like, where would you recommend starting? Because I basically just created an account.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I would go in there, play around with it a little bit, just get familiar with all the sections. You can always look at my profile, and you can find me anywhere. If any of you want to connect with me after the fact, I'm just Connor Dube, DUBECONNOR, Connor Dube. But I would go through those add profile sections, and I would fill out as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Banner image, make sure you have a profile photo that's professional. All of our phone cameras are like amazing. I mean, if you can have a roommate just put you up against a white wall with a nice shirt and just take a, like a shot from your shoulder, chest up, or even just, your head. That'd be so easy. You don't need to go get a professional shot if it's outside your means. So photo, your banner, and then your messaging. Remember how I talked about how to do your messaging a bit differently? Don't just put student at Metro State University or engineer student at Metro State University. Try to fill it out as robustly as possible. If you want to do it and then send me a message after you've done it, I'd be happy to take a look at it for you. Does that help?
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Cool. Great question. Hunter. No, it's Patrick.
No, this is Patrick. Well, Lauren at first, she pretty much asked the question I was going to ask about, like, how to contact for internships and stuff, because I need to start doing that more frequently because I have to do an internship over the summer. And one of my things is I don't really know what to look for when looking for an internship, like as in what I want to do, because with my major there's like different things I can do, because it's kind of like it's hard to describe, but it's like a jigsaw puzzle that you're missing pieces, so you can like find pieces from another puzzle and just put them in, is how I would describe it. So I don't know what I want to look for in an internship. How would I like refine the search based on what I like?
What do you like?
I like drawing. I like using the computer to design. I like being hands-on, so actually doing stuff. My major is advanced manufacturing, so it's a mixture of different like engineering stuff, and then there's some business in there. And I myself like to draw. I like to design things. I like sketching, and I like helping people. That tends to be my biggest like joys in life.
Awesome. Well, and thank you for sharing that. So I would first see if there's any areas that you're already following that are of interest. Is there a magazine? Is there an Instagram page with, digital designs that they've done for companies, or publishing it to Instagram? Can I find them on LinkedIn? Can I find their company on LinkedIn? And in your case, you just got to sample stuff. Like, I've played with 20 different career options and jobs and sales and all kinds of stuff before I landed into what it is that I do now. So I would just say, find something that excites you, because you have the ability. If you're doing an internship, like, find something that excites you, like excites the crap out of you to do it, not just because you have to do it, but find something that's interesting. Do some Google research to begin with. What are the top, you'd probably even find what the top placements for advanced manufacturing degrees, where they land, and see what kind of companies that applies for. Find those companies on LinkedIn. You could search advanced manufacturing in LinkedIn as a keyword, see who comes up, see what company they're in, kind of the reversal of that, see what interests you, and then just start reaching out. Hey, I'm looking to do an internship. I don't care if I'm cleaning floors or if I can actively be a participant, but I'd love to just kind of be in the environment.
Connor, I wanted to ask a follow-up question on that point. Is
bring it, Florence. Please.
Once we like start following major organizations on LinkedIn and we are interested in pursuing a career in those organizations, I think it's also nice to go on Google and search the organizations and look for career opportunities on there, even though we're already following them on LinkedIn, because that might give us like a quicker way to get in there.
Yeah, it's not one or the other. That's a great point. I appreciate you bringing that. First, I want to make sure, Hunter, does that help? Did I kind of answer your question on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you did really good about covering my question.
And I think that's for you, a bigger thing, right? Is like just experiencing, because you may not know till you have experienced a bit, like, oh, hey, this is exactly what I want to do, which is really fun and exciting because you get the chance to just kind of taste different stuff. So I think just really honing in on what gets me super excited. If I got paid $0 to do it, I would still do it day in and day out. That's how I assess myself. I'm like, if I got paid no money right now, would I be doing this thing? You know? Now your other point, Florence, what you brought up, which I thought was a really great point. Yeah, I would go and find if there is active applications. Is that kind of what you're saying? Like go to Google and see if they do have like jobs that they're trying to fill?
Yes.
Yeah, ZipRecruiter, all that's great. Now here's the thing. Almost 100% of business owners who I've asked this question of say that they are always hiring great people, even if they're not promoting that they're hiring great people. So there's this whole section of the economy called the hidden job market. In the hidden job market are entrepreneurs like me who, you know, like if someone comes to me and he's like, hey, I see you do video, but I can elevate your video game by like 20x, and here's some things that you might be able to do. Could I come in and intern for you and help out? I probably end up hiring that person. You know, it just depends. But the other thing is I'm always recruiting. Like I'm always like, I'll meet someone at a party or an event or whatever. I'm like, you're phenomenal. Can I hire you? Like, are you on the job market? So there's that hidden job market that I don't think enough people are tapping into. You can go through the traditional application route, and I encourage that, but use LinkedIn, connect up with the 10, 15 different influencers in a company, build the relationship, build the awareness, and you know, tap into that hidden job market a bit more than probably what you think is possible. They are receptive. They just want great people on their team. You know how hard it is to find. It takes us months and months and months to hire for a new position, right? Cool. Cassie.
So my question doesn't really benefit like college students necessarily, but I wanted to know if you would still suggest LinkedIn as a resource for people who don't have a college education, because I know quite a few people who like are in the job force, but they don't necessarily like their job, or they want to get into a new one, but they never went to college and they just feel stuck there. So I just wanted to know like if this would still be a great resource for them to use.
I mean, I'm biased, but yes, I'm biased. So yes, but first, if they've assessed like I'm miserable, this isn't my passion, like I don't want to be doing this, but I do know that I want to be here, or I want to be there, or I want to be doing this. If you know what that is, and you can find the people who are already doing that, and the companies who are doing that or involved in that space, again, the 4 pillars I talked about, if they can implement the right messaging, engage with the right people, put content out around it, and do this consistently, I would always rather hire someone who's super passionate, super skilled than anyone with a college degree any day. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
How's the view from up there?
Oh, you know, it's great.
Cool. I love it. Chandler Williams, how are you, my friend? You got a cool view too.
I mean, just a picture, but Yeah, I'm doing good. My question is, in your opinion, is it better to have like a ton of connections that are just all across different industries, people you went to school with, professors, like you mentioned, or is it better to have a smaller amount that's more fine-tuned to like the industry that you are interested in?
That's an awesome question. So couple parts. In the very beginning, most of you probably have under, some of you may have like 20 LinkedIn connections. Some of you may have 200. In the very beginning, you want to try to open your network as much as possible, because the more people you're connected with on LinkedIn, the more you have direct connections to other people. So when you see on LinkedIn, there's like a third, that means that's someone who's like a third person removed from you. If you see someone with a second, that means you're connected with someone who's connected to them. So in the very beginnings, I would say, yes, you want to try to open your network as much as possible. Connect with as many people in the companies you're interested in, connect with your colleagues, connect with friends, connect with teachers, connect with me. My network's massive. So if you connect with me alone, I have 16,000 followers on LinkedIn, I think. That's going to open your network monstrously for a lot of these industries, especially in Colorado. I have a lot of connections that are in Colorado just from what I've done over the years. So I would say in the beginning, yes, you want to try to open that up. But in terms of, and I teach my clients this too, in terms of the other things that we talked about, I'd much rather have a small, tight network of hyper-focused people that are like the ones who I want to be engaging and communicating with than 100,000 vapid connections that are just ridiculous. Like I don't need that many connections that aren't even relevant to me and don't even care and aren't even engaged. That's a great question too. So that's food for thought too. If you're looking at it now and you're like, I got 16 connections and I can't connect up with this guy because I don't have my connections opened. Every day, just set aside like 5 or 10 minutes a day, and just go in there. If you're having a cocktail at the end of the day or beer or whatever, it's so easy. Just go in there and start opening your network up. Okay, it'll really help immensely when you're trying to get through to other people. Evan, Chinese? Chinese? Canese. Oh, that's even cooler.
I get that a lot though. So my question is just with like, if you've worked like a bunch of jobs, should you tailor like the jobs you've held on your LinkedIn similar to like a resume where you're like, these is like the field I want to go into. So like based off of your experience and the jobs you're looking for, or should you just put every single job you've worked regardless of how long it's been, or if you were like in high school and just had like a job?
Yeah, great question. Super relevant question. When you're submitting your resume into a certain position, that's where I would a la carte the resume that you sent to put the positions that are most applicable, right? Like I'd rather see 3 job experiences than like 10, 3 that are more hyper focused than like 10 that are just irrelevant. And I'm like, why did this person put this on the resume? It doesn't make any sense. With your LinkedIn profile, I would build that out more robust, but try to keep it, if there's stuff you can cater more to your industry. So like my example from earlier, like if you worked at McDonald's for a month, probably don't need to put it there. Now, if you worked at, trying to think of like a fancy restaurant in downtown Denver. I don't know. I'm blank right now. There's too many good restaurants all over.
Ocean Prime.
Ocean Prime. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. So if you worked at Ocean Prime for 6 months, high-end restaurant, lots of business professionals there, that I would include, right? And that's just restaurant. I mean, there could be, you got to kind of contextually have the intuition to know, hey, this makes sense, but I just did this for a month. I probably don't even need to include that. Now, volunteer experience, like you can volunteer for a day and include that on your LinkedIn profile. That's a bit different. Cool. Did that answer your question? Was that helpful?
It was. Thank you.
Thank you. Who have I missed? I see Elizabeth Beelan. Oh, Florence. That's right. Florence, go fire away.
Okay, so I have quite a few. My first question would be, if I'm employed to like a flexible position, not part-time or full-time, but just like a flexible position, I get to choose my hours, no benefits, but it is in a professional setting that has to do with the career I want to get into after graduation. Isn't but then I know I want to find a better position after graduation. Is this still relevant to put in my LinkedIn?
Yeah, if you've had an internship, I mean, that's resume building stuff right there. So talk about what your position was. Even if it's an irrelevant position to what you may be applying for, you were in me as a hiring manager, I see that you were in that environment. So that's, valuable for me. Yes, absolutely include it.
Okay, but if I still want to like be open in LinkedIn to getting a job, shall I still include that? Like I'm currently in this position. I don't think LinkedIn gives us that option to say we're currently employed but still open to work.
Yeah,
I
you
don't know how
can.
that- Okay.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely. Yeah, there is an open to work section at the top of
Yeah.
your profile. By the way, everybody, I actually think I may have brushed past this. So let me point this out here to you. Up here at the above the fold section of your profile, there is a show recruiters you're open to work. So you can fill out job titles you're interested in, locations you're interested in, you're open to remote work, when flexible, contract, part-time, internship, temporary. So all that's in there, and that actually shows up for recruiters in their search filters when they're going to look for, people in different positions. I know, I work with a lot of like marketing, like chief marketing officers, right? I work with chief marketing officer in a manufacturing company, and their employer knows this, they do active consulting on the side. So they're showed that they're full-time in this position, but then they have another section that's like contractor marketing consultant.
Okay, my second question is it necessary to have a premium account on LinkedIn? Because I know
For what go ahead. You had a second part to that?
I was just saying, like the better the opportunities we get with the premium accounts.
Yeah. So if you do anything from a premium perspective, Sales Navigator is the way to go. But for what all of you are doing, it's probably not necessary. If you can expend this $80 a month to do it and sign up for it, yes, it massively opens LinkedIn up and gives you like unfiltered, unrestricted access to everybody. But I would probably just stick to like a normal base LinkedIn at this point for most of you. Everyone's gonna, just assess what your direction is. And I know I'm okay running a few over. Sheila, are we doing okay and can answer one or two more questions?
Yeah, if people are willing to stick around and don't have anywhere to be, I did just want to mention that somebody did put a question in the chat a little bit earlier. Mackenzie did.
Well, let me see if I can dig that up here. So Florence, did I answer your questions okay, and was that helpful for you?
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And did you say we can hook up with you later if we need more help?
Yes. Yeah. Feel free to. I'm happy to take a look at your LinkedIn profile. You can connect with me there. I'm on all social media platforms. Okay, Mackenzie so I still have a few years until I will be in my degree in psychology. When do you think I should start trying to connect with others on LinkedIn? Today. I would do it today, like right away. Is Mackenzie still? Yeah, Mackenzie's down there. I would start building that network up, right? And the better you can build familiarity within your industry, then by the time you put the call out, like, hey, I'm ready to be hired, you're already going to be so far advanced to everyone else who tries to like graduate and then they jump onto this, or they try to do it in their last quarter, their last semester of school. Great question. The only question I have is this recorded. See you again later. I think you were recording it, right? Peer mentoring YouTube page. I think that's yes. Did I miss any other questions through here, Sheila, that you've seen? Okay, cool. Who else did I miss here? Did I get Elizabeth? Oh, Elizabeth was next. Elizabeth.
Yeah, hi. I really don't have any questions. I was just, I'm the one who asked about the recording. That was about it, because I missed about half of this. So, but it seems like a lot of good info. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any career roadblocks, challenges, or just even anything you think you might want to contribute to the conversation?
No, I mean, I missed half of it, so I feel kind of, I don't really have a lot to say. I hate LinkedIn. I hate it. I've put it off forever. So that's why I'm taking this, because I know now it's becoming, it seems like the last 2 years it's become more relevant again. So yeah, that's why I'm here. So I'm a Master of Healthcare student, healthcare admin at Metro, and I work with C2 Hub actually. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that. I've been on LinkedIn probably 9 years. I hear that every year. I hate LinkedIn. It seems like it's becoming more relevant now. It's like, it's interesting. So,
well, I'm getting a lot more stuff about like events, things connected to people I know and I work with in my program. And before I wasn't. So I know I've been on there a while, but it really needs updating. So yeah. And I'm about to look for an internship. So.
I tell myself in the morning, like, I don't want to go to the gym. I hate working out. It's like the thing that you hate and is like the biggest pain, in the back of your mind, like that's the thing I got to be doing. And I need to stop procrastinating on that. So totally get it. So moving along here, Mackenzie, we got Mackenzie's question. She was having audio issues, I think. Is that someone's name or can you hear me?
I don't know if their audio is working, but they did put in the chat, explain how networking and participating in professional development and/or professional associations can help students secure a good job after graduation.
Networking, participation, development, professional associate, secure a good job after graduation. Well, it's in the first part of your sentence of your question, networking. Right? Networking, if people don't know you, they cannot flow to you. So networking, whether it is LinkedIn, whether it's Instagram, whether it's events, whether it's at the bar, whether it's at a professional event, networking, your network, there's a reason people say, as corny as it could be at this stage, is like your network is your net worth. And that doesn't mean just like finances. Like your net worth of resources, your net worth of connections, your net worth of, anything that you want, someone else has access to help you get there. So that the answer to your question kind of is in your question, which I really appreciate. It's an awesome question. And by the way, you can you can add in there if I answered your question, if you have another follow-up question. Sheila, do you have any questions that I can answer for you in regards to LinkedIn or anything related to it?
I'm all good, thank you. I think if I did have any questions, it would have already been answered.
Cool. Camellia, and then let me know if I had missed anybody else. Camellia, you with us?
I don't know if she is. She's the meeting organizer, so.
I told you I get to everybody. Like I said, even the organizers, I'll answer your LinkedIn questions. So, okay, she says she's in a meeting. Before we wrap up, folks, anything else last minute I can clarify for you, answer for you? I put lots of content out for free on LinkedIn. If you send me a question or a message, I can always create content and videos around it. Yeah, anything else? I think Sorry, who was that?
I have a question. So if I was looking to do a summer internship next summer, would it be wise to like connect with or some of the companies on LinkedIn even up to a year early, since it'd be next summer, and like start doing that with a bunch of them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there'd be no reason to I mean, you may wait a little too long and then they fill it because someone else jumped on it earlier. So if it's someone who you want to have a career with 10 years from now, again, no issue, no qual in starting to build that connection, build that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. Anyone else while you have me here? You just raise your hand or ping or ding wherever. Cool. Yes, no. All right. Well, while you're thinking on that and everything, I so much appreciate all of you being here. Super grateful to be here with all of you. Again, you can find me on any social media platform if I can help connect you in any way. Feel free to let me know and go take action on it. Like, it's one thing, I know I've sat through stuff like this when I was at Metro. It's one thing to like kind of like, okay, that's cool. But the thing where the rubber hits the road, folks, is taking action, right? That's the only thing that's going to separate you from success, however you define success, wherever that is that you want to be, is that action. If you can take one little baby step, if Josh can start connecting with people he wants to connect with a year from now and be in an internship a year from now, you don't have to wait till you graduate. I was building multi-million-dollar businesses while I was a student. And so all those opportunities are right there to you. And if I can be a resource for you, then let me know, folks. I'm here for you. Go Roadrunners.
Thanks a lot, Connor. This was awesome.